Welcome back, everyone. Today I'm going to talk about a classic interview question and how to respond to it. And that question is, so, tell us about yourself. So, let's go ahead and get right into it. Now, this is a question that is usually first on the list of questions in any interview. It's sort of like an icebreaker, but right off the bat, they're trying to gauge your personality and how well you can connect to this new environment. Since this is a question that is part of like 99.99999% of interviews, there's really no reason you can't prepare for it. Having interviewed dozens of people, I've heard the full gamut of responses, and depending on the position you're applying for, you should really try to tailor the response to the job, just as you would any other question. When taken at face value, this question requires a simple enough response, right? So they might say something like, well, Mr. So-and-so, why don't you start off and tell us a bit about yourself? And you might go into something like this. Well, I'm 30 years old, I have 2 kids and a wife, I've lived in Colorado for about 12 years, and in my free time, I really enjoy fishing and hiking with my dogs. I have 2 golden retriever labs and so on and so forth. And continue to tell them about the things you like to do for fun and more stuff about your family. Sounds like a good response, right? Well, not exactly. First, you just told them a bunch of information that is confidential that they really have no reason to know at this point. There are reasons employers cannot ask questions about non-job related things, so why would you just voluntarily tell them things that they could potentially see as disqualifying? Sure, the flip side could also happen where you tell them things that could end up helping you, but in this capacity, it's not really likely. Besides, there's going to be a time and place to share non-job related things such as hobby and interests later on in the interview, but not with this answer. Right now, your goal is to start things off on the right foot by showing why you're the right person for the job. So, let's say, this is just going to be a vague example, but let's just say you're applying for a job as a sales manager. You sit down and they start off with a typical, well, thanks for coming in. Why don't you start out and tell us a bit about yourself? Okay, you settle in and you start to answer. Well, first, I just want to say thanks for this opportunity. I've been in sales for about 5 years now, and I've really enjoyed it. I found that I enjoy talking to people and really getting to know them and sort of building a relationship with them. And since I've started developing my own style, so to speak, I've ended up becoming Salesman of the Month multiple times for exceeding my revenue monthly goals. And yeah, this is just something that seemed like a really good opportunity for my career. I read about the values on your company values on your website, and I have a fair understanding of the product line I'd be responsible for. So to me, this seemed like a really good fit. Plus, I've experienced leading a team since I was in charge of launching a new product line in my last job, and that went really, really well. And it was similar to something I'll be doing in this new role. Now, can you see the difference in how you answered the first example where you just kind of talked about your personal life versus this second example where you kind of tied your past experience into the new role? But because the point is, you want to give people a sort of recap of your resume because not all of them may have had time to read it over, and also you want to remind them why you're there. Another reason is you need to let them know that you understand the job that you're applying for and why your skills are a good match. Finally, you can show your passion for the work that you're going to do while still talking about your personality. Can you see why this will get the interviewers more engaged than telling them things that are irrelevant to the job? Now, after a few questions and they have a good sense of your skills, then they may ask about hobbies and interests, but keep in mind, you're there to find a job, not a fishing buddy. So, really what it comes down to when you're answering this question is stay objective. Stick to the facts, what you've done, and how you're a good fit to this company. You don't have to be long-winded. You don't have to give them your entire resume. But just give them a little snapshot, just something that's going to grab their attention and says, oh, I want to hear more about, maybe when, in that last example, oh, I want to hear about that product line that he launched and, what he did, what strategy he used, because we're definitely looking for somebody like that. That's the kind of stuff that employers are going to want to hear. Because if you start off things right, you're going to, and you hook them right away, it's going to make the interview seem much more calm and relaxed because they're going to be comfortable with you and really want to get to know you and your skills versus, okay, great, we learned that this guy likes to fish and he's from Colorado. Great. I know my cousin lives in Colorado, but that doesn't make him qualified for the job. So that's kind of where you want to make sure you steer your answer when you're answering the so tell us about yourself question. Anyways, I just wanted to wrap this video up really quick and give you that sort of snapshot. But if you have any more questions, or maybe if you have another example of an time that you answered that question that ended up working out really well for you, let us know in the comments. In the meantime, please give me a like, share, and subscribe, and I will talk to you again soon.